Welcome to another episode of Class Haven Farms. So what do we got going on today? Well, today I'm going to show you guys this new turkey tractor that I am trying out. Picked this up from the Vevor company. So I'm going to kind of do a walkthrough and show you guys what I've done with it to make it into a turkey or broiler tractor, and just kind of get my opinion on it. So stay tuned. So if this is your first time here at the channel, welcome. My name is Andy and this is Class Haven Farms. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that one thing that I like to do here on the channel is raise my own poultry. We have poultry for egg laying, and we've also done a couple batches of meat chickens. Now, this is your first time here. The chicken tractor that I've used has been this Johnson model chicken tractor, which has done really well. As you can see, right now I have some egg layers in there. And these are ones that the Chicken Whisperer hatched back in the spring. So obviously these guys need to be with the rest of the flock up top the hill. But I wanted to kind of do a side-by-side comparison and look at a couple different things. And I like to have it hands-on right here. So I probably had this setup going on for about 2 weeks now. Just kind of getting an idea of how this, I guess you could say, chicken coop, because that's what they call it from the Vevor company, how it will hold up to being used as a chicken tractor as compared to the chicken tractor that I've had. So let me show you guys some of the stuff that I've done here and kind of go over some of the details of this new one from the Vevor company. Vevor has quite a few different options for, they call this a chicken coop, but let's be real, it's really a chicken run. It would be one of those chicken runs that you could use whether you wanted to put a smaller coop on the inside or if you wanted to attach your coop to the side and just kind of use this as a run. This is the 6 foot wide by 9 foot long, and I think it's like just over, a little over 6 foot tall in the center of the pitch of the roof. I kind of had this idea looking at it because it literally looks like a chicken tractor. So my thought process was, this thing is a lot cheaper than even building one of these. Now, the Johnson ones, I really like this model. It's great. But if you're going out to buy your own lumber, this can get pretty expensive, especially with the way lumber prices are. Plus, you got to take the time to put it all together, to bend the conduit, to do all that stuff, which is, I mean, I like this model. And I like this model because I can run both meat chickens and turkeys in it. I have a place where I can run roosting poles if need be, and I can do everything that with this for broilers that I can with turkeys. So it's a dual purpose, and that's what I like. I don't want to have something that's one-dimensional. The Joel Salatin style boxes, you guys have all seen those. They sit low to the ground. I've never used one of those. I've thought about building one just to try it out. But to be perfectly honest with you, doing a couple seasons of broilers and turkeys, I kind of like these two setups. All right. So with this one, obviously price went into it, and also putting it together. If you're not familiar, these are just snap pieces of metal. So you snap these poles together. Probably the most labor intensive that I had was just running the chicken wire through it. Now, what you see here as far as the chicken coop goes, this is all from Vevor. Anything extra that I added would have been the chains and the feeders and the roosting poles and the rope, but everything else pretty much comes from Vevor like this. Now, I think right now this model is, if I can remember right, last time I looked was $189. I think I got it on sale for $156. Now, I will say we are an affiliate of the Vevor company, so I'm going to put all of the different links for these type of chicken coops in the description. So maybe you're looking for something a little bit bigger. Maybe you don't want to use it as a chicken tractor like I am. Maybe you want to use it as what it's designed to be, as a big run. So I'll put all the different sizes on there. So the feet on this are like a circle flat footing. They do have some holes here. So if you wanted to put some stakes through there to keep this from coming up, I will say probably one of the things that I'm curious about is it's very lightweight compared to that model. So I would be worried about maybe if you had heavy winds coming and grabbing this and flipping it up. Haven't really had that yet. Might have that coming this weekend with the storm coming up the East Coast, but we'll see. Again, this tarp, everything came with this kit. It's got 2 doors to open up, so you can open just the top, which I like to do often just to pour my feed in. And then if you need to go on the inside, you can then open it up here on the bottom. And then you can shut the bottom and you're still not locked out, because I can go in and open it up this way. If something happened and this did shut on you, I don't think it would be too hard to get to this lock to get yourself out. If you got little kids, yeah, that probably wouldn't be good. So if you got little kids coming in here and playing and things like that, just know they might not be able to understand the concept of getting themselves out by clicking this here to get out. And just to give you an idea, I am 6 foot tall, so I still have a little bit of clearance before I hit the top of this. Now, some of the things that I have added to this, obviously I have chain here. And again, this is just chain for like a swing set. So I got some chain there, and I did use the main support beam running across. This is a 7-pound feeder, and even filled up all the way, it doesn't tend to pull down on this too much. I was worried about that. I wasn't sure how this was going to hold up, but it seems to be okay. Now, I will say this. When I go to move this, I do it in the morning when this is either empty or there's not a lot in there like this morning. And I do the same thing with the water. Now, the water I put in for right now is just a 2.5 gallon water. Obviously, I have my Plasan water, which I will end up putting in here once I get done with this little science experiment I'm doing. But again, even with the 2.5 pound water, if this thing was full, and the 7 pound or 2.5 gallon, my apologies, 2.5 gallon water and the 7-pound feeder, it still doesn't pull down on this too much. I was worried about that because, again, it is just popped together metal. So, you know, it's not going to be as strong as a structure like that. Something that I did recently is I just built this roosting pole setup for them. And all I did was I had some 1x1s, some leftover 1x1s. I grabbed some tobacco sticks from the tobacco barn, and I mainly just tried to fit it for what my feeders were. So I didn't want it to be too in the way of the water or the feeder. And then on the ends to connect it in here, I just had some metal angle that you would use for framing, for putting stuff together. So I had some of that stuff laying around. And I also had a clothesline hook, which, yes, I know that clothesline hook is way overrated for what I need it for here, but it was what I had laying around. And I had some S hooks up here that I had laying around. So let me get this camera set up and I'll show you guys how I move this up so that I can move this chicken tractor. So I'll just grab this. It'll pivot on that pole in the back, and then I just click it into the S hook that I have. And now the roosting pole is completely folded out of the way so that I can move this chicken tractor. Now I'm just using the chicken wire to put the S hook through, but it definitely seems to work really well, and it gives them a way to roost and get out. Now, I have noticed a couple different things, and I'm going to show you guys right before I get to move these guys. Probably would be a good idea for me to put some silk fence up around here just to kind of give them some type of wind barrier. Right now, I've been keeping the turkeys housed in here and then moving them every day. But the eventual game plan is to get these guys moved out of here soon and get this chicken tractor out of here. And then this will be the sole tractor that stays in this Vevor electrified netting that I have. And then I will, you know, at nighttime, obviously I'll shut the door because they're going to roost on the poles. They were roosting last night in here. I'll come in and shut the doors. And then in the morning, I'll open it up and let them out. And then I won't have to move this as much because they will have free range to just go out, go around, get into all the bugs and fresh greens that are around, and then come in here and get their water and their feed and maybe get out of the weather if the weather's bad. So let's go ahead. I'll get the camera set up outside and show you guys moving this. Before I move this, some of the things that I've noticed here with moving this coop the way I have it set up is with these flat bottom circle feet on this thing, on the backside here, you can see where this is kind of grabbing into these clumps of grass. So sometimes before I move it, I have to kind of pick it up, get it over top of those big clumps, and then pull it. The game plan, and I picked up a wheel kit that I can attach to the back of here. So hopefully when I pick this up, the wheel would then hit the ground and it would keep this thing off of the ground, or maybe give it a little bit more clearance so we can get over some of these grass clumps. But in all seriousness, this thing doesn't weigh that much. So even if I can just kind of muscle it or pull it, or I might just have to stop and pick it up, like I said earlier. So that is something that I've noticed. And to tell you the truth, I wanted to put the wheel kit on before I started. I said, you know what? No, let's try it without the wheel kit. Let's see how it works. And then we can adjust accordingly. But I did want to go over that. That's some of the hangups that I have noticed it using it here. Now, obviously, with the Johnson Scotchfitch model, you have the axles that you made here on the back, and you put the wheels on, and you can take the wheels on and off if you need to. Some of the other issues that I have noticed with this, because it's not as heavy, and because there is some give in this frame, you do tend to have some low spots here. So if you're on uneven ground where you might want to put this, or as you move this, you might realize that it's way too high because of how the ground is sitting. For me, again, I'm using the Vevor electrified netting. So I'm not too worried about it because nothing, and I have plenty of foxes, I have coyotes down here, I have plenty of stuff, and I have not had any issues using this electrified netting, whether it's from Vevor or the Premier One stuff that I've been using for the egg layers, or the Premier One stuff that I use for the goats. So those little gaps and stuff for me aren't that big of a deal because I have this netting. If you were just solely using this as a chicken tractor without anything, you would definitely have some predator issues. I mean, you can see over there by the water, it's definitely up off the ground a lot more than it is maybe back here or there, and that's just because of the way the land is laying. But that's just something you'll have to take into account. For me, I'm fine with it here because, again, I have this electrified netting. So let me go ahead and get the gate open here because I'm actually going to move all of this, but I'll just show you guys this portion of it. I'll try to do a couple different angles of this move as I go along. So you can see right now it's grabbing onto that clump that I was telling you guys. So when it does that, I do have to kind of walk back here, pick up on this. It was stuck on a stick. That's what it was. So I do kind of have to clear this out. Now, the nice thing is the chicken whisperer or the lily tamer here, they can pick up on it. And again, because this thing is lightweight, even the chicken whisperer has no problem moving this chicken tractor or turkey tractor or whatever you want to call it. So you can see that left corner is still kind of grabbing some of that grass. So I do think the wheel kit will come into play there and will help out big time. And I'm going to go ahead and move this camera around to the back so you guys can see that. So there you can see some of the drag marks there. So I'll go ahead and sit this up here so you guys get a better look at it. Lily, do not eat the turkey droppings. I already know that's what you're trying to do. And look, these guys are so conditioned. They already know. Oh yeah, he's putting us on fresh grass. Really grabbing that clump there. And like I said, I do have the wheel kit, so that will, I think, definitely help out once we get that hooked up. Come on, guys. Come on. So not too bad. Obviously, this one will roll a lot easier because of having the wheels on the back, but this one does weigh a lot more compared to this one. So what I like about this one is that the kids can help move it. The kids can help be a part of it because, to be perfectly honest with you, they both kids have a hard time picking that one up. I mean, they can do it, but it's definitely not as easy as this one. Wheel kit will definitely help. So that'll probably be the next thing I do. I also have some solar powered motion lights that I will run all the way around this to kind of Lily, leave them alone, ding dong. So I'll run solar motion lights all the way around it, just like I did with this one, to kind of give me some added security. So if something does come along this fence line and it turns on, the animals will run off. I know my neighbor over here, he will tell me, or his fiance will tell me sometimes, that they'll see the lights come on in the middle of the night, so they kind of keep an eye out too. But all in all, I do like this setup. I think for me, this is going to be the way to go instead of building another one of these. Now, I do have lumber to build another one of these, and I have materials to do it. But for the amount of time it would take me to build that, to do the same thing that I'm doing with this, and for the fraction of the price, I think this will be the way to go. The only thing that I'm going to change on it is, again, putting that silk fence around the backside to kind of give them a wind barrier, and adding the wheel kit. But all in all, it's, I mean, for the price point, it's not too bad. So if you're seriously thinking about getting into broilers, getting into raising your own poultry for meat, I would suggest this. This is just a different alternative. Again, there's a bunch of different ways you can build it, however you want to do it. I'm just trying some different stuff out, and I thought I would share it with you guys. And again, all the links for the products that we use will be in the description. So this fencing here, this chicken coop, or whatever you want to call it. Again, Vevor calls it a chicken coop. Lily, busted. Look at her. What are you doing? You trying to get some turkey poop in your gut there, huh? You can get sick. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you kind of got something from it. It's just a cheaper alternative, in my opinion. Now, obviously, yeah, if you got a bunch of lumber laying around and you have the time to put all that stuff together, you can make a cheaper one. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. But for me, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't have a lot of time between, having the kids half time and, working and trying to pay everything off as a single parent. It's and still wanting to live this lifestyle. I mean, the eventual game plan that I have is this is all us. And eventually, I'd love to put some cows down here. Probably, if I can make it happen, maybe do some hay next season, if that's a possibility. I got a buddy that's going to take this big tree down for me so I can open this whole pasture up. I had another buddy that came by with some of his equipment and dug out all the stumps from the old garden, because this used to be an old garden here and it was all grown up. We had the old garden up on the top up here, which I'm getting ready to move the egg layers down there so they can tear all that up and get it ready for me for the spring, and just kind of use them as mini tillers and let them do some of the work for me. So, my eventual game plan is to do more of these, and maybe eventually get legit with selling meat and doing all that. But right now, it's just work my town job and then come here and do this, you know, when I don't have the kids. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave me a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Follow us along. Again, if you're interested in any of these products, please click the descriptions down below. If you go to make a purchase, that definitely helps us out. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.